End of venues for us to perform at. In my other guise as poet and spoken wordsmith. This guy also runs his own publishing business, amongst other things. So can we have a big welcome for Mr. Greg Stokes?
Oh yeah, it's great to be here. Black country spoken, English understood. I was going to wear my thanks for the day off t-shirt, but the missus said, you can't wear that, you might upset somebody. You know, it amazes me. It's great to be celebrating the Diamond Jubilee, but the amount of preparation that goes on every time the royal family pitch up. One time, Charlie was coming to Dudley, and a week before, this Rolls Royce faggot and paste stall appeared in the marketplace, and it was like everybody knew it was there, but nobody bought none. It's like, oh, faggots and paste, I'll have some of them next week. I got no money. It was on the news. Charlie, I'm going to give him some faggots and paste. Well, he turned his nose up at him. He didn't want none. But the best part of the day was, because the Met was doing the security, not Dudley Police, and of course, all sorts of local characters turn up. Wolfie, the Wolves mascot, comes. The Met took one look at him, thought, animal rights protester. Down he goes into the cells. You couldn't make it up. But anyway, I ain't wearing my thanks for the day off t-shirt, but have you ever thought what it'd be like if, because everybody's got a downer on the black country, we're all supposed to be thick or something to do with the way we speak, and have you ever thought what it'd be nice if we had our own republic, the black country was a country and England was out there someplace? Well, I wrote a couple of books, this is the first one, Pack of Sapness, and that's just exactly what happens. The black country's a republic. It's all about the head of the homicide section of the BCPD, and there's a serial killer wasting people from the Green Party, the Green Henrys. And part of the plot is there's a cultural exchange with the New York Mafia and the local crime family. And as part of that, a Dudley window cleaning firm gets the franchise to clean the windows in New York, which is a pretty big job. And this little bit of the story is about that. Lindsay Pfeiffer lived in a penthouse suite on Central Park West. 15-foot ceilings in a city in which ceiling height and colour and type of facade was everything. 15-foot ceiling meant the inhabitant had to be going some to get a place like that. That's what George and Pete Groves, the son of Walter and Wilf, were discussing in their cradle as it moved across to Lindsay's windows. George was of the opinion that this meant wealth. Pete were convinced. And you're telling me, if you live on the top floor of them flats in Queen's Cross, you're unloaded. Can't afford a television licence off on them. George shook his head. No, they ain't loaded, but they can't afford a television licence off on them. It's just that they prefer to use the disposable income in other ways. Oh, George broke up. Come on, have you all seen the cut to this missus here? Lindsay Pfeiffer had just come into view, wearing only a negligee. Debates about her wealth on the basis of her apartment aside, she herself looked every inch $1 million. Perfect figure, unblemished features, young, vibrant, single, had got everything. A rich daddy who was leader writer on the Wall Street Journal, and above all, had got influence. Calm, chap, there doesn't get many like her up Queen's Cross. Pete peered in. Lindsay had become obscured by the shadows. Oh, I don't know, chap. The exhalations and wars continued for a while, till Pete, all of a sudden, got matters in perspective. Hey, George. George was still chuntering to himself. What is it doing something for me, chap? Don't you worry. Has her got a television? Pete asked. The apparent absurdity of the question broke George from his reverie. What? Has her got a television, does he reckon? Of course has got a television and has paid for the licence. That was the only information Pete needed. He was rattling the paid. Whoa, whoa, me wench! Inside, Lindsay was horrified and petrified. At first, a native New Yorker, she knew only too well that anyone who made unsolicited social advances was a nutter, and as a consequence, dangerous. Then she remembered that making a social advance through the window, some hundreds of feet above the ground, was, well, not possible. She peered at the window and did a double take. Pete saw this and was convinced he had the woman's attention. He rapped on the window again. Whoa, me wench! Then Lindsay remembered the leaflet had come through the door, a first in itself, announcing that her windows were now to be cleaned by Walter and Wilfred Grove and Sons, Dudley in New York. No job too big. Reassured in her mind, she went to the window and opened it. Walter and Wilfred, right? And Sons, Pete said. We'm the Sons, I'm Pete, that's Wilf's son, and this is George, Walter's lad. Okay, the new window cleaners, right? That's right, Dudley in New York, right? That's right as well, Say, where you guys from? Dudley, is that up in the Bronx? No, it's Queen's Cross. Oh, over in Queens. Nah, love, Queen's Cross in Dudley, George tried to explain. Oh, the yard's on the right, just past the lights as I'm going up the hill, Pete added. Lindsay giggled. Ever the great communicator, however, she had identified exactly where the conversation was going wrong. No, I don't mean what part of Dudley, I mean where's Dudley itself? Oh, I'll get you, George says. Take no notice, me wench, I sure hurt ya. It's in the Black Country, love. Lindsay looked blank. The BC, George tried to clarify. Oh, the Black Country Republic, right? Population 1.5 million GNP per capita. About $23,000 US. Main exports heavy engineering, light engineering, beer and pork scratchings. Neighbours the city-state of Birmingham. But you guys don't get on too well, right? That's the place, George said gleefully, and not without a little pride. Pete thought this had gone on long enough. Any road up, sorry to bother you, me wench, but have you all got a television? Why, sure, Lindsay replied, unsure where this was going. Well, you couldn't look up the teletext and see how the Wolves got on last night. George shook his head ruefully. They were the footy results on teletext out here, you sap clarnet. Oh, you guys want to know how the ball game went? Oh, I love the soccer from the BC. Say, I'll do better than that. She picked up the phone and called the office. Lindsay here, put me through to the sports desk. Say, Colin, have you got the soccer results from the BC? The recipient of the call was obviously having difficulty with this request. Pete and George saw Lindsay snap into the receiver. Just exactly what part of soccer results from the BC didn't you understand? Colin must have asked which results. And Lindsay said, a team called, what is it? Wolves. Wolves. Oh, I see. They lost. I love that line. I'll do it again. They lost. Sorry. Pete was crestfallen. George by no means shared his despondency. Not interested in soccer, George? I am, EA. Lindsay cocked her head to one side, signifying a total lack of comprehension. Laggies and best, George explained. I'm the other, what you call it, soccer team in the BC, Pete added generously. Oh, I see. And there's Warsaw, Pete. Don't forget Warsaw. And Warsaw, Pete conceded, but they play in a biscuit tin. George nodded in agreement. They do, or... Right, Lindsay nodded sagely. She never knew when information might come in useful, however useless it seemed at first. Say, you guys, what kind of hostess must you take me for? Can I fix you guys a drink? I prefer one that wore bossed in the first place. I'm sorry, George, you'll have to run that one by me again. In fact, most of the conversation to then had been conducted on guesswork. What was that you said? I'd prefer that war. Doesn't make sense, George. As for the rest, Boston, the first place? Lindsay shrugged. Do all you BC guys talk like that? We don't know, George admitted. No offence, my wench. What I said was this. George enunciated each word in the clearest English of which he was capable. I would like a drink that had not been broken first. Not broken? Lindsay nodded. Right. Maybe these guys were nutters after all. Fixed, George said softly. Well, to us, fix is another word for mend, and we only mend things that are broken. Oh, right, a joke, Lindsay giggled. It's a good one, that. What was it? I'd prefer one that wore bossed in the first place. Place. Beautiful. Right, so, what can I get you? Beer? You guys drink beer? I got bud. That's another funny thing about language, me wench. You lot call one another bud if you're mates, and you call your beer bud. We lot call one another chap, so it'd be like we asking for our ale, saying a pint of chap, please, chap, which would be a right ruddy pack of sapness. A what? An article of stupidity. Christians have articles of faith, black country people have articles of stupidity, which we tend to steer clear of because we buy saft. Right. A lot of people think we've been, but we buy. George spent the next half hour explaining what he just said. At the end of that time, the agreement was that Pete and George would finish the windows on that building. In the meantime, Lindsay sent out for some Banksy's mild from the bar the boys used. It was much later in the evening before she started settling down again and learnt as much as possible about the BC over a few jars of its national drink. Lindsay Pfeiffer felt the story breaking, and she was the one who was going to break it. Thank you. My God, the big clock says, Greg, you've got another 10 minutes to stand there, son. So I better pick out another bit. They used to having big clocks. It's normally, get off, you're fucking on too long. Right.